Last year, the question, what is a woman, was asked by everyone.
Since you are the president of the National Women's Law Center, I was hoping that you could define what a woman is for us.
Now listen, Roseanne, let me ask you the most difficult question in the world, apparently. What is a woman?
You know that you're a woman.
Yes.
What is that?
Define what a woman is.
It seems no one could answer that question, particularly if they were a politician or someone who was fearful of the response if they did answer this very obvious question. But that question right now here in Australia is about to be put to the test. It's about to go to court, and there is a court case that you need to know about. The court case itself speaks on a lot of really big issues, including women's rights, free speech, trans issues, amongst others. And it could very well put into law an answer to the question, what is a woman? Now, before I go any further, everything in this video is alleged, all right? And it's for comedic effect. Don't take it seriously. This is the case. No, seriously, this is what it's called. Giggle versus Tickle. That's the name of the case. I'm not shitting you. That's what it's called. But it's probably the only funny thing about this case. This is very serious. And it's affecting the lives of many different people, including Sal Grover. Before we go any further, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a quick second to thank the amazing sponsors of this video. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheath. Oh my God, the best boxer briefs that have ever existed. Nothing is more comfortable on my short and curlies than these beautiful boxer briefs from Sheath. Their underwear is absolutely the bee's knees. The best above all else. I'm wearing them right now. No, I really am. Like, a lot of people will lie about that when they do ad reads, but no, seriously, I do. I have them on right now. I would show you, but I think that's inappropriate. If you grab yourself one pair of these beautifully comfortable boxer briefs, I guarantee you it's going to change your life. You'll never buy another pair of underwear ever again. They're the most comfortable boxer briefs you will ever own. Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't feel comfortable when you got them on, you got me to blame. They're stretchy fabrics made out of this moisture wicking technology. So it takes all the moisture away from your bits and your bobs. So they're nice and cool, calm and collected. Now, one thing that I was a little bit skeptical about is the dual pouch. One for your dangly thing and the other one for your other dangly things, right? Now, I was a bit weird about that. I was like, okay, that's a bit sus, but I actually really like it. Right? It's good to keep them separated. They're a dangerous pair when they're together, but separated, they're much more relaxed, which is good. You don't have to use the pouch, but the pouch is there if you need it at a moment's notice. Go to sheathunderwear.com and get the most comfortable underwear you'll ever wear, ladies and gentlemen, and use the promo code Butterfield for 20% off your order, ladies and gents, and even try the new Bamboo. Go to sheathunderwear.com right now, ladies and gentlemen, and use promo code Butterfield to get 20% off, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much to Sheath for keeping me calm, cool, and collected and comfortable in my underwear, and for sponsoring this video. Now, back to the video. Now, Sal created an app called Giggle for Girls. What is Giggle for Girls? Well, Sal will explain it herself.
A social networking app exclusively for women. So it's basically where women could go to find roommates, freelance work, maybe like a Twitter-style forum with lesbian dating, emotional support. I mean, you could, like, lots of different things. Like, you could connect with women to become pen pals if you wanted to.
Let me just mansplain for a second what Sal's trying to say. It's an app for girls to fucking network and hang out and all that shit, all right? It's a female-only space. And is there really anything wrong with that? There are a lot of different spaces all over the world that are just for women. In fact, there's a lot of spaces that are just for men, and I think that's absolutely fine. And you know what? On top of that, I've just sort of realised there's a lot of spaces that are just for trans people, just for people in the LGBTQIA+, etc. community. And that's all fine. There's nothing wrong with having a space dedicated to those just like you. Is there? Except for when it's just white people, then it gets a bit squirrely. But, you know, fair enough on that. It does have some bad connotations of wearing hoods. So, Sal goes to launch Giggle for Girls, and it's a massive launch. There's newspapers involved, media wants to do stories on it, a big launch. Now, unfortunately, right about the time it's about to launch, some people on the far left-leaning side of transgender rights finds out about it and decides, hey, how dare you? How dare you have a place just for women? Because everyone's a woman. I can be a woman. Fucking look at me, dick, I'm a woman. That's alleged. I don't know if anyone actually said that. Allegedly, penis. Upon the launch of the app, Giggle is bombarded and inundated with hate. And on top of that, many people who were born men and now identify as women tried to join the app as well. I guess they did this as a sort of protest into Sal and Giggle deciding that, you had to have a vagina and be born with a vagina to join the app. And from this, as Sal explained, she went from having something that was very positive to something that was seen as very negative. And all the media outlets ran away from it. They were terrified. They originally thought it was a great idea to have a safe space for women, etc., etc., etc. And now Sal and everyone at Giggle was just transphobic. They were TERFs, if you will. I guess it's important to note that the reason that I think that it's good to have groups just for women and just for men and just for trans people is, well, it's good to be around people who have shared experiences. You can compare notes. You can understand each other on a deeper level. Is there anything really wrong with that? So, the media runs scared. The launch of the app is absolutely in ruins. And that's not all. Now, Giggle removed many people from the app, particularly people who it was quite obvious that they weren't born women. Now, one of those people who was removed took this very, very poorly and decided to, well, claim that they were discriminated against to the Australian Human Rights Commission. This person declared that the discrimination was so bad that there needed to be intervention from a government body. One more question before we move on. Do you think if Sal tried to join a transgender group or a transgender only app, do you think she would be welcomed? Would I? Yeah, let's have a think about that for a hot second, shall we? Fuck no. Fuck no, we wouldn't, all right? Why are you trying to ruin this for women? I don't get it. I'm sorry, and I will call you a woman and I will say you're a lady and all that type of stuff just to be nice, but you are not a biological woman. You are not born female. There is a difference. And there's nothing wrong with having a group of people who were born female who only want to hang out with other women who were born female. All right, if you want to let trans people in, there's nothing wrong with that either, but there's nothing wrong with having the fucking group as a little bit limited, because you open yourself up to a whole strange precedence then. Because if you let one trans person in, then you have to let every trans person in, and not that there's anything wrong with that. My point is, how long are you trans before you're allowed to join the fucking women's group? How long? Can it be 10 minutes? If you look like a woman and you've been trans for 10 years, I get it. I get why you probably would want to, but this is a fucking complex issue, mate. In a completely unrelated case, and on the other side of the world, Planet Fitness in America received enormous criticism after a female identifying biological male was caught shaving in the women's locker room. I mean, you can make up your own mind here, but she's shaving her face. I don't care how much PCOS you've got, all right? If you're shaving your face that much, you might be a bloke. By the way, the woman who complained about this, she had her membership revoked. Yeah, she was banned from the club because she dared to say, hey, why is that biological man shaving in the locker room? And what happened to Planet Fitness after that? Well, they lost $400 million in valuation. Serves them right. Anyway, back to the case at hand. This is a quote, an excerpt from Giggle's crowdfunding website, gigglecrowdfund.com. They're currently raising money as well, so if you want to join in on what they're fighting for, then go for it. Quote, a male named Roxy Tickle, pictured here, who identifies as a woman, has brought a human rights claim against Sal Grover for not permitting him to use her female-only networking app Giggle. Now, anyone can make a claim to the Human Rights Commission of Australia. I found that out the hard way when I got taken to the Human Rights Commission last year because of a joke that I said on stage about Aboriginal people. It's a very strange part of the world, Australia, when you can be taken to court because of jokes. What the fuck? Part of being taken to the Human Rights Commission is it's all about conciliation, coming to an agreement before it goes to actual court. And well, Giggle didn't agree to the terms of the conciliation because, well, these are the terms.
The conditions for settlement were that I would have to let him on the app. I'd have to let all men who claim to be women on the app. That I would have to go to sex and gender education, and that I would have to moderate the content on the app so that men who claim to be women weren't offended by what women were saying.
No wonder they said, fuck that. Re-education? What does that even fucking mean? Back to the excerpt from the website. Tickle initially filed the complaint last year but withdrew due to funding reasons. He's now filed again, way out of the time, and is claiming that by excluding him, Sal is discriminating against him on the basis of gender identity, which is a protected attribute under the Sex Discrimination Act, which is Just hilarious, by the way. Now, Sal and Giggle, they're taking this right to the top. This is basically Giggle versus the Australian government, because the Sex Discrimination Act received amendments in 2013 under Julia Gillard, the then Prime Minister, who was just a fucking big whinger, making it unlawful to discriminate against a person based on gender identity. The problem with gender identity is you can just say whatever the fuck you want. You can be whatever gender you want all the time, anytime. You can change from morning to evening. Like, that's madness. How can you have a law that can be interpreted in 1,000 different ways? If I identify as a woman to get a job that's only looking for women, and then they don't give it to me, is that discrimination? It sounds like it. Now, I've spoken to Sal Grover, and she doesn't seem to have a bad bone in her body. She just wants a space for women. For females only, biological women. That's it. That's all she wants. The decision in this case will have huge ramifications for Australia and the world legally when it comes to the question of what is a woman. I guess the question's this: should we have spaces where only women can go and only men can go and only trans people can go? Or do we open everything up? Because either it's all okay or nothing's okay. We shouldn't be allowed to have trans-only safe spaces if we can't have women's-only safe spaces. And we could never have men-only groups. Imagine the discrimination there. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'm very interested to see how this case plays out, because it does have huge ramifications for what will happen in the future. Anyway, until then, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Big stinks. Toodle au revoir. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, check this out. This is Betterman, my new book. Over the past 18 months or so, I worked on this, and I tell you what, I'm very, very proud of it. It is a manifesto on modern masculinity, what it is to be a man, what it is to be a good person, and a better version of yourself. It's not a memoir, it's a man-moir. Ladies and gents, I think you will absolutely enjoy it. It's not an autobiography by any means. It does talk about my life and what I've gone through. I've been through a lot of mental health issues in the past. Well, not a lot. I was never fully schizophrenic, but I've had some issues. But it details how I dealt with those and continue to deal with those whilst doing stand-up and videos and raising a family and all of those different types of things. And ladies and gents, I think you will really, really enjoy this. I spent a lot of time on it. I really worked hard on it. And it means a great deal to me to now have it in my hands, ready for you guys to see it, read it, and become a part of it. Pre-order the book right now. Let's push our way to #1 on the chart. So head to isaacbutterfield.com right now and grab yourself a copy of Betterman. Thank you.